on Friday, a podcast was done with Shawn, Ryan, and Sam reading an email, okay? And in that email, if you have that video, because in here, I urge everyone to dedicate 45 minutes to fully grasp the details of what has been unfolded. The episode takes a deep dive into a manifesto, an email written, sent to Sam by Matt Luebbert himself within chilling documents that boldly declares, what I'm going to send you is going to change the course of humanity. Matt, a former Green Beret, is at the center of the story. Cybertruck. In this episode, we unpack the manifesto's content, which includes allegations. What's chilling is the same individual who emailed Sam also emailed Shawn Ryan also to corroborate this interview. Link below. Okay, so I watched the interview, and it's very, very interesting. Now, fast forward afterwards, I think Shawn had to make it. And by the way, Shawn is probably one of the best podcasts, top 5 podcasts in the world. He's absolutely blown up the last 2 years. And I think even right now on Spotify, he's ranked number 1 for the last 72 hours. He may still be number 1. He does great job with interviews, military background. And here's the story. Let me read this to you. Matthew Luebbert claimed Cybertruck bombing was to cleanse his mind of brothers he lost and trash feckless leadership of a U.S. near collapse. 37-year-old goes up that this is not a terrorist attack. It was a wake-up call, explaining his actions as a way to cleanse my mind of the brothers I've lost and relive myself of the burden of the lives I took. Matt's phone contained another note urging Americans to wake up, accusing the U.S. of being led by weak and feckless leadership and claiming the nation was terminally ill and headed toward collapse. He also emailed a manifesto to Army intelligence officer alleging a conspiracy involving drones with gravity manipulation technology. Is this the email, Rob?
It is.
And what criticism did this email get, Vinny? Is it the fact that the red dots?
So yeah. Do you see where, like, Robbie? Can you like zoom in where it says Signet and ISR? Just wherever it has red stuff, Rob. Right? Yeah, right there. So what they're claiming is, if this was a sent email, why these are like corrections that you could do, Tom, if somebody's typing on a word or a document like that. But it did reveal, like, because Shawn did his research and looked up live on the podcast with that other gentleman of the incidents that he was saying where America was bombing in Afghanistan and civilians were killed, and this guy said that he was a part of it. So Shawn Ryan checked it, and it turns out that yes, in fact, that we were bombing and there was civilians blown up. The counterpart was, and again, Pat, people are like, it could be a psyop. Who was this guy? Why did he put it on there? The other one was that the drones on the East Coast weren't drones. They were Gravitas, something by China that was getting launched out of the water, out of submarines. And I mean, people jumped on it pretty fast because if you think about it, China's been doing whatever the hell they want for the past 4 years with the spy balloons and buying land next to military bases. So it turned really fast because another Green Beret that Umberto was telling me about did a story. He did a podcast and he said that all the buildings and all the stuff that this guy told Shawn Ryan about was all fake. And then now and again, this guy was apparently burned alive, but then they find his ID. Just like every time there's 9/11, they found Muhammad Atta's perfect passport on the ground in New York City. So there's a lot of questions. Who knows what to believe at this point? I mean, we know the ISIS guy, they're saying that there was no connection, which, by the way, this was found in a melted, completely burned out vehicle, which is that
his ID?
That's his supposedly, allegedly,
Matthew
Luebbert's ID. The gun, everything was burned beyond recognition except that. They had to identify. And then they're saying that his DNA that was found in here, Adam, doesn't match his son. He has a son, and the DNA found in the vehicle doesn't match.
What was the whole story that he participated in a show with Tim Kennedy?
He was on.
What was that?
It was on a show with Tim Kennedy where they're like running and shooting and doing like military.
How long ago was that?
Oh, years ago.
I mean, 2 years ago, 5 years ago.
I would say more. Like this is the Green Beret show right here.
This is Green Beret
on the history.
Rob, how long ago was this? Do we know?
I'm not sure. I'll have to look.
Okay.
Yeah, Tim Kennedy saw the interview, and he says, "Wait a minute, I know this guy. Okay. I know this guy. I know this. I did something with this guy." And then he realized, this was something an Inside Edition or TMZ partner? Interviewed him about it. That was his partner in this show.
Tim Kennedy is a living, breathing stud.
Yeah, he's a G. He's a G.
So that is from 2013.
Okay, so this is over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Now you got to know what happens in the military world. Tim Kennedy had some criticism about a month ago, where a couple other. By the way, this in every world, this is kind of how it works. They see guys, a bunch of military vets try to create content. One breaks out, they all attack him.
Of course.
Okay. Shawn Ryan breaks out, Jocko breaks out, Tim Kennedy breaks out, they attack. No, that's not true. This is not true.
Internal guys.
Oh, there's a lot of pride
Sort of like
on these
like
stories.
a crab mentality kind of a thing, try to bring them down.
It sometimes happens like we're the real ones, he's not the real one. And some of the stories, maybe it's fabricated, maybe it's over-exaggerated and you've added some stories to it, it's fine. But Tim Kennedy is a man's man. He's a fighter. He fought in the UFC. He's a stud. He's a great communicator. There's history with this guy doing great work. So, yeah, he was on the show with him. But Rob, what has happened since that podcast till today with Shawn, with Sam, and how the market has reacted to it? What have you found?
Well, conflicting reports. So at first it came out that the police verified that email was true. However, over the weekend, it turns out that according to the police, that email is not accurate. And then Shawn Ryan, I believe, released an apology or a statement stating that he was misinformed when he released that.
Got it. Okay. By the way, good for Shawn for doing that. And I think there was a story that said he had left the country. Why do I feel like I read a story that?
Yeah. When I by the way, when we were on the group text message saying, "Hey, watch this interview," I watched it. There was a couple different things. The biggest takeaway that I had out of all this is at the very end. Did you hear the last thing he said? Shawn Ryan said, "Man, I wonder if this guy's still freaking alive." The guy that blew himself up, Matthew Luebbert. I was like, what is that? So there's some assumption that he might still be out there, that there's sort of a body double. Who knows what's going on there? And then I think what you're referring to is that he said he's taking some time off.
I found a podcast is disappearing after Matthew Luebbert's alleged manifesto shown. This is Newsweek. Shawn Ryan, host, 3.6 million subscribers, was disappearing for a few days after releasing an episode. Alleged Manifesto, Cybertruck. What we are about to release is a mind-boggling, will raise a lot of questions. The email forwarded by intelligence analyst Sam to the FBI stated that drones over New Jersey and advanced Chinese technology call them the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. And so he had no choice. Dude dumped it in my inbox that he had to read it to others. Yeah.
It's just weird. It's just weird.
But I'm going to tell you something. Here's what I like on what's going on. What's going on. So think about how many blowers there are. And how many people that I talked the other day, me and a guy who was Matt's friend, Special Forces, sent me a message on LinkedIn. Okay. And I called him. I personally called him, and we spoke. Okay. And he said, Matt and I were, I'm not going to give his name.
Yep.
Matt and I were both stationed in Germany together. We were on two separate Special Forces teams. But our teams train and work together a lot. I spent 4 weeks with him in Bordeaux with Matt during a language training program, and he was directly in charge of me and two other guys. We broke bread and drank wine almost every day throughout the trip. The same trip, his wife visited us. I haven't spoken to him in almost 8 months, okay? And because he's saying that there's no way in the world this guy's capable of doing something like this. Yeah. And then, so I called him, and I said, hey, are you willing to talk? He says, oh, no way. I'm not willing to talk. And he did not want to sit down and talk about anything. But what I do like about what's going on with this is that normally these types of stories will be sent to CNN or MSNBC or Fox or whoever. Yeah. How many of them get filtered out? And it's like, yeah, no, we're not going to cover it. Nowadays, podcasters, they're going to screw it up sometimes. It's going to be like, oh, shit, we mishandled that. Yeah, that's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot of times because they're like, oh, my God, I can't believe I have this source. What if this. Here. Okay, no, this one was wrong. Great. But guess what? What if 2 out of the 10 are right and it saves 100,000 people's lives or 3,000 people's lives? Guess what? That's progress. Mm-hmm. A form of that where there's relationship with people and other podcasters where this type of intel is being shared. I'm actually very optimistic about the fact that this is happening. And Shawn Ryan seems like a lot of people, well, this guy's he was a government agent under Barack Obama and, also Sarah Adams, both of them are under this and, they're intel, they're trained under those guys. So does that mean like if I was a soldier while the president was somebody and politically I'm automatic? This is the part where you have to be very, very careful with how quickly people get, success happens, somebody gets some exposure, you're going to get targeted and the mob's going to come after you. Everybody has to be aware of that. Our merch team got a lot of requests of people saying, can we get some of these stickers and decals that you guys got so we can also put it on our iPads and different things? So they went to work and it got zoom. Can you zoom in, Rob, into those stickers right there?
Decals.
So the decals, you got the Valuetainment logo, you got the allegedly, you got Only the Paranoid Survive, you got Future Looks Bright, you got the BizDoc, Words Talk, Number Scream, you got the PBD Podcast, Angry Patriot. Even Saucecast made it, an Unusual Suspect made it with the stickers. So how do you get it?
Nice.
Today, new hats that have been, some of the hats that are on the BOGO list now, you buy one, you get one free. These hats that we have, the ones that are on this list, Rob, if you can go down the black, the white, we added a few new ones to it as well. Any of these, you order one, you'll get one for free. And first 100, I believe it is, who place the order of buy one, get one free, you will get one of those stickers added to your, order as well. Go to vtmerch.com, order Future Looks Bright. Last year, we had over 120,000 individuals that bought Future Looks Bright gear. 120,000 pieces that were sold last year. What's interesting is just 3 years ago, I believe, the number was 600. And last year went to 120,000. We wanted 1 million people wearing the Future Looks Bright gear. Nowadays, when we go all over the place, we're seeing people, they're sending a bunch of different pictures. Kids reading Academy books, kids having the gear on. Ladies now wearing it. My wife finally getting some merch for the ladies as well out there. But place one of the orders, buy one, get one free. Get the stickers on your way, and then post them, laptops, iPads, whatever else you want to put it on. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.